Welcome. I'm Debbie Mercer, and I serve as Dean of the College of Education at Kansas State University. And I'm so pleased to introduce to you Dr. Kern Alexander. Kern is Excellence Professor in the College of Education at the University of Illinois. There he teaches courses in school law, higher education law, school finance, and higher education finance. He is also the editor for the Journal of Education Finance. He holds postgraduate diplomas from Indiana University in Bloomington and the University of Oxford. And lastly, he has served at many universities and is the author, co-author, or editor of over 30 books, including American Public School Law. So welcome, Dr. Alexander. We're thrilled to have you with us today.
Thank you, Dave.
It's always an amazing opportunity to hear from educators who are really making an impact in our profession. So talk to us about where your passion for education came from, specifically related to finance and law.
Well, my father was a school superintendent, and my mother was a teacher, and so we talked about education around the dinner table my entire life. Superintendent board meetings, teachers, and the issues that would affect teachers. So I grew up in a poor education family.
My mother was also a teacher, so I understand that. It is a very powerful influence. So parents, obviously role models, but other role models and mentors that help shape your professional career?
I guess my graduate work at Indiana University helped shape it. I was fortunate enough to have good professors that were interested in not only getting your doctorate, but then creating a relationship with the student thereafter. First job I had, they got me a job in the U.S. Office of Education, the U.S. Department of Education. And I told them that I didn't want to stay there, but I would love to go there for a couple of years to get experience. And so they said, you go there for a couple of years and we'll bail you out. I said, I want to be a professor. So in April of the second year, they got me interviews at 4 places. That was on their calendar. I didn't mention it to them. And they did everyone like that. A part of the deal in working with them in graduate school was that they would help take care of you from then on in your profession, or they would be there for you. And I thought that was a wonderful tradition they had there. To tell you the truth about it, I've never been able to establish that as well as they did. I was at the University of Florida for 20 years, and I've been at other institutions. I've been at University of Illinois for 15. But we haven't been able to establish that linkage, although we've tried. Things just are part of the culture of the department or the college in some of those states.
So I think that underscores the importance of building up that culture within a public school classroom or within a university.
Yes, indeed. This College of Education, your College of Education here, is performing such a vital service to the state of Kansas. I'm not sure if one understands that. You're graduating the frontline people that are developing the human capital of this state. And the rate of return on the state's investment in those students and in the students in elementary and secondary school is what makes nations great, and what makes cultures productive and cultures inclusive. The great countries of the world have had that kind of an educational track. And the United States is the greatest country in the world, but there are others now that are moving in with similar programs, and they understand the same thing we know about with regard to human capital development. And I think the College of Education and those public schools are the factories of human capital development, and that's very important.
Well, this morning at your lecture, you talked about the rise and decline of public schools in America, that ideal. Would you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the ideal of the public school is uniquely American and French. The French Revolution, the American Revolution, there were no public schools, there were no democracies before that. And the having a public school system was the basis of having a democracy. Schools of the Republic, public schools, common schools. That is so important in the passing along from generation to generation of knowledge that these countries realized that they had to have. And France did it, and the United States did it. The United States did it better and continued it. And what we have here at Kansas State and in these states of America were land grants provided by the central government to have public education, public universities, and public schools. And it was stimulated by our founders in this country, the great founders, Jefferson, Madison, John Adams. And we've carried that through. That's the tradition, and that's the ideal. And the decline in that title is the possible and potential and unfortunately, the decline can be from the privatization of that entire function of government. Public common schools, if they become privatized, then that steals the entire purpose. It takes it away. Everybody went to school in common, everyone learned in common, everyone paid in common, and that created this machinery that other countries all over the world have copied. Japan has it. European countries have it. They've emulated the United States. And what I'm fearful of is that by reintroducing a privatization, as some countries had, and as Charles Dickens and Nicholas Nickleby talks about, for-profit schools was a ditch that England never got out of. I mean, they're not out of it yet. For-profits and having people to make a profit on the educational system. Well, that's a fearful prospect, particularly when you know that in our country, higher education has gone for profit and has spent astronomical amounts of money for little or no increase in opportunity. These public universities are still public universities, and they're the viable engines. Big land grants like this school, they're the viable engines along with the feeder systems of public schools that are really the hope of this country. And if this country doesn't get sidetracked into things such as charter schools, for-profit, vouchers, privatization of education, tax credits for private schools, if it gets sidetracked into that, it will start to diminish the public school.
So what is a possible solution for the state of education?
The solution is that the idea that we go back and determine what the ideal was, and that people talk, knowledgeable people, deans of colleges, state superintendents or commissioners of education. We need knowledgeable legislators that understand that there is a vital function there that Thomas Jefferson and Condorcet in France recognized in the Revolution. And that has made the United States a great university to follow that pattern that they laid out. And to depart from that is to destroy that vision, to destroy the virtue of the institutions. Now, the only way you can do that is politically. And so you have to explain this to the minds of the people that benefit from it. They've got to understand that they're part of the commonwealth, the state, the institution. The government of the schools is public. The government of the schools is everyone goes to school in common. By the way, government is not a pejorative word. It's what we have to offset the avarice of the private sector and to keep a balance between rich and poor in this country, knowledgeable and those people who are ignorant in this country. And that's the measure of the institution. That's the call for public common schools and the public universities such as Kansas State.
So teachers make up a large percentage of the workforce in the state of Kansas. Talk about their advocacy role in the processes that you've just outlined.
I just spoke with one of the classes here at Kansas State, and I encourage them to be in their community the leaders in the community. They're the educated people in the community. They're teaching the next generation of people in the community. And they should take a leadership role, know these issues, and help lead the people. Most people don't have time to sit and think about the value of public school in their community. They're working, they're busy, they have their own jobs, and they don't have the time to examine the underlying issue that is before them when you say we've got to support our public common schools. And it doesn't always cost more, although I would say in the United States that we don't support our schools as much as 35 OECD countries, 34 OECD countries, and there are only 35. So we've got to talk about the value of what these teachers are about, and those teachers have to carry the message to the communities.
Absolutely, I so agree. So we've covered a wide range of topics. Anything we haven't discussed that you'd like to touch on?
Well, the issue that I think is before us presently, right now in this state, is part of the common school concept is that people go to children and teachers work in common in the common schools, the public schools, and the state pays all the taxpayers pay. Everyone goes in common, pays in common. And because it's not the benefit of the individual that's being educated, it's for the benefit of society at large. The spillover effects, economic spillover effects, tell us that if you live in an educated community with good schools, your standard of living is ipso facto higher than all other communities that don't have that attribute. And if you're in a state that has well-educated people, then their standard of living will be higher. And the state has to pay for that with taxes. The state cannot not pay taxes. And Oliver Wendell Holmes said he loved to pay taxes, the great justice, loved to pay taxes because he knew that he was contributing to prosperity, to the culture, to the good of the country. I'm paraphrasing him. I've added a couple of words I think are better than Oliver Wendell Holmes, but that we pay a low level of taxes in this country, and we have high-need children, and if we don't pay for them as a country, as a state, then we're not able to elevate those students to make them productive members of society and to be positive human capital, human beings.
So that's our huge priority in front of us and our challenge to figure out as a state and as a nation.
Thomas Jefferson said that we owe it to the next generation to pass on to the next generation. That's an obligation of this generation, is to pass on an intergenerational transfer. And we don't have that intergenerational transfer now that we should have in the country or in this state or the states individually, to guarantee the intergenerational transfer so that the children will be better off than, and no more than, the mothers and fathers before them. That's our obligation as educators and taxpayers.
Very good. So on a final note, what advice might you give to aspiring teachers going in to carry on this work?
Be the most knowledgeable people in the community, which they are when they go there. On the average, they're the most knowledgeable people in their community, and they need to pursue that, activate that, work with the community, work with the government of the community, work with all facets of the community, bring to the table what they know and their abilities. These teachers you're educating here are well endowed with knowledge. They're well endowed with capabilities to be leaders in every one of those communities. And that's where you change for the better.
Absolutely. I'd say that's the K-State way.
Good. That's the land-grant way.
It is. Well, Kern, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for visiting with us. It's been a pleasure to visit with Dr. Kern Alexander. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our video. We really appreciate it. We have so much cool stuff for you to check out on this channel. So why don't you hit subscribe right over here? And I promise you, these events, you're gonna wanna watch these. So you can hit this one right here or this one right here. Enjoy.